that's not true.
No,
Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning,
Hello.
Angie.
Is that like
How you guys doing?
Yeah, perfect.
Still looks a bit dark, doesn't it?
Do I?
No, I think Dave looks.
Why?
There we are. It's like you got the sun on you.
It feels like it.
I've been suntan and nobody else has.
It's working outside.
Do you want to introduce yourself to those who?
Okay, yeah. Hi, I'm Dave. Married to Angie
Woohoo.
for quite some years. 36. Been together 38.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just really aware it's quite an emotional day as a family for us today, and I'm just wondering if you're all right to do this today, because I
course I
think
am.
very often, and it was something I was thinking about in the garden this morning, very often it's that the front that people often play when they struggle.
Difficult time.
So what's happened since we last podcast you? Because the last podcast we did probably
Quite some time ago.
We did it in our old house, and it was during the winter months. I know that because I know I came in from probably building. Funny enough,
like you are now.
yeah, we've just completed building our home, really. So,
And what a journey that's been.
yeah, it's been fun. It's been frustrated. It's been stressful. It's been arduous. It's been yeah, and generally we have really enjoyed the journey of it's almost like nesting. You know, we built our own home. We built it to our own specification. Yeah, we bought trades in when we needed the trades, but we've done huge amounts of work ourselves. Very grateful for the trades that we've bought in because, you know, it's really helped to take the burden off. We kind of almost like we had the structure designed, so we knew what we were going to, but the interiors, we've really scratched our heads over that. When you've lived in a property for 26 years and everything's got its own place, you kind of, it's almost like taken for granted. You know where everything is 9 times out of 10, except for in the shop. Where did I put that spanner?
Yeah, but it's like that in the house now, isn't it? Because you go, where's the knives and forks?
Yeah.
Where's this kept now? And where's that? And we haven't really, I haven't organised everything in the kitchen yet because we keep changing our mind as to where you want things. But that's life, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
for sure. You know, I'd rather be living in Plua than Gaza at this moment in time, you know, and that's, you know, when we're going through adversity, that's where my head goes, really. There's always someone else a lot worse off.
Is there ever a time when you when you were younger, you thought, one day I'm going to build my own house?
Nope, never. No, never. And it's only really through circumstances. You know, we just come out of COVID. All builders, and especially the good, you know, builders with great reputations, they had like 18 months, 2 years work. And we did have a good builder on board, but, you know, something happened in their professional life and they just weren't able to fulfill their commitment. So we just decided within 24 hours to do it ourselves. And yeah, as like I say, we have brought in skills and trades which have really, really helped, and I've enjoyed doing the journey. You know, it's been 2.5 years just to build the house. It took a year to do a triple garage, double story. But, you know, it's like we've put a pool in. Obviously, you know, we lost our eldest child during this process, and, you know, we've added a swimming pool.
Yeah. And that was a big piece of work. Really big piece of work.
Yeah, it was great. You know, when you kind of like, you think, have I bitten off too much that I can chew here? But again, I got a couple of real great farmer friends who've got the big sloughs, the diggers, the trailers, the tractors. Okay, lads, this is how we're going to do it. And, you know, we dug it out and mucked away. And it you know, when you really sit back and look at it on paper, it's a very simple process. The weather was really, really kind to us, so it should be brilliant. And the swimming pool company that we worked with were really, really good as well.
I do remember coming over. I can't remember what it was, but I think it was the first day or second day that the swimming pool was ready to use. And the house, I don't even think you had the windows in the house at that point, but you had a funny working swimming pool.
Yeah, the swimming pool kind of like, you know, when you schedule these things in, it's going to happen. And the swimming pool turned up on an Arctic lorry, which I had to arrange for the local builders merchants so I could offload it onto a lorry with a crane on. And yeah, we backed it up, we got it in there. And it is exciting when you have like huge, big concrete pump lorries in, and there's lots going on. It's like you've got your own big kind of like building site. And Yeah, it was fun. It was fraught, but yeah, it was really enjoyable. But other people held my hand whilst we were doing it, and we did a load of work ourselves. And obviously, you have to build a little pool room to house all the plant, the filtration, and got an air source pump. How green are we? Loads of solar panels around the property, which I know Angie absolutely adores them being on the roof. Not, but yeah. So,
but I suppose coming back to the original question, did you ever think when we first got together, we never ever thought that owning our own house was a miracle, wasn't it? And then doing that, and it all goes hand in hand, doesn't it? You don't realise people are so lucky. And it was, somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, you're so lucky, but actually you've worked for everything that you've got. Nobody's given us, either of us, anything."
It's so true. We started off renting from the local authority. We had no curtains, we had no carpet, just the floorboards. And you look at some of the family photographs, actually on proper photographic paper, and you can see where we came from, small beginnings. I think the main thing is just being happy together as a family. You can go and have pleasure with it. We used to go for walks. We used to go up on the hill, start fires, not to burn the forest down, but to have a log fire. And, we'd go foraging. We'd take our own food up there. We'll have a fry up. The kids loved it, absolutely loved it. And, some of the fondest memories were those times of camping down on Exmoor, damming up the river, having a wash in the river, taking some route, having a Tarzan swing across the river, using the public toilets in the nearest town in the morning to have a wash. It was very, very simple, good fun. We used to take the kitchen sink, didn't we? Sometimes we had to take 2 cars because we take all the kids' bikes and borrow a car from a friend. So yeah, good old times. But yeah, from where we've come, it's just slog. I think that we've been quite fortunate that we've always worked hard, but we've generally always liked our work. And I think that is so important, to enjoy your work. There's been times where I've been extremely unhappy in my work, and it's come to head and it's time to change. And there's been times when I thought I was unhappy in my work when I was employed, and I start looking around elsewhere, and then suddenly realised, I'm doing okay here, and it's my attitude that I've got to change to work, and that's happened a couple of times. But I think since we've started our own business, we haven't looked back. Really. I think we've got a great team. I think everybody's worked really, really hard. Yeah, it's something to be proud of.
And I think what stands out, it's like you were saying about putting in the pool. We only used to put in a pool was because James had passed away, wasn't it? And we thought, right, this is it. Spend his inheritance.
Yeah, much to the disgruntlement of our other children. For the grandkids, James's children greatly benefits, and the pair of them love the pool. Well, all 5 grandkids love the pool. You struggle to get them out at times. It's only when they're hungry.
It's really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then we have to blackmail them to get them out. Otherwise, we tell them after, we're banning you from the pool if you don't get out.
I did laugh when they came last Saturday, because some of them come for riding lessons, and normally they come into the house. But we've just finished the tree house at the bottom of the garden, and we put a fireman's pole in, and we put a zip wire. And on Saturday, all the kids knew the zip wire was there, and they'd all been had a go at it midweek. They came for a swim, but instead of coming into the house to see Granny and Grandad, they're running down the garden trying to be the first down the zip wire. Hi, Granny. Hi, Grandad. We're going on the zip wire.
Oh, blast.
And the moments like that are priceless. That's our wealth. That is our true wealth. It's bliss. Absolutely bliss.
No, that's really lovely. So now that the house is 99% finished, I guess the question is would you have done anything different now that you've finished it?
Yeah, that's the difficult thing. Would I have done anything different? I would have maybe have kind of spent a little bit more time in thinking about storage space. I think, we struggle. Well, we've kind of like, Honey, I Shrunk our property, from a 5 double bedrooms, 4 reception rooms down to a 2-bedroom, 1 reception. So yeah, we've been pretty ruthless in removing lots of stuff that we've been keeping. And yeah, I am can be a little bit of a hoarder, but I know that comes from kind of humble beginnings. You think, well, hang on to that, it'll come in handy one day. Where I kind of got to retrain my thought patterns. I don't have to be like that anymore.
Can I just say?
Yeah,
come in
God,
at
I
this
knew that
moment?
I knew I was not going to get away with that
Because
one.
I went upstairs into the workshop to get some books and to give to our next podcasters.
And you wanted to say how tidy it was up
It
there.
was really tidy. I was
Thank
so
you, Alex.
impressed. But what I wasn't impressed with, on top of my book box, is a pair of boots.
What type of boots?
Your old boots that you haven't thrown away.
No, they're my hiking boots.
Are they?
Yeah, they're my
Oh, right, then I'll
hiking
forgive
boots.
you.
Because I'm not allowed my hiking boots in the house, you see. Friends can. I can't have mine.
We have had to move a lot. It's been quite. I don't regret. I don't actually feel that I would change anything, even down to storage. I think
Really?
just now it's just a case of organising what we do have in the house, because time has not been on our side since
No.
we've moved in. We are very busy people, and we don't have enough. I have not had enough time to even tidy the kitchen properly. Putting pictures on the walls, which has been quite tough, really. We're dragging our heels about that a little bit, but it's just things evolve, don't they? Like life, it evolves, and I think the home will evolve.
For sure.
So,
We're definitely living in it, aren't we? We're absolutely living in it,
In every part
which is
of it,
really,
which is
really
nice.
nice. And I
think we lived in all of
Yeah, we
next
did.
door. The
We
5
did.
bedrooms, there's only me and you in there.
Yeah.
We lived in every bedroom. You know, there was always something that we did in each room. It wasn't anything.
And I suppose the other kind of the thing that just popped into my head is accommodating the grandkids, bedding wise. That's been fun in games, hasn't it? You know, we sofa bed, which two can land on that. We got another bed where two can go in there, but there's always one floating around, really,
Yeah.
isn't it? So we're going to get a mattress or get something, whether it stows away up in the garage, but it's important for them to be comfortable, sleep well. You don't want grumpy grandkids, do you? When they're tired.
No, you definitely don't.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, I follow a number of people on Instagram who build their own homes, and there's a couple that I follow who they seem to build their dream home. It takes them 3 years to build their dream home, and the next thing you see is that they're putting it up for sale, and they're going to go and do it again, and they've got a young family and all of that, and you just think that's crazy. But also, I'm always intrigued by the things they do different.
Yeah.
And there's not much they change, but they you usually watch a video and they go, "Oh, we wish we had done this, or we'd use this material, or we'd put underfloor heating in, or we'd done this little thing differently." And I don't know whether that's because they rush to build, or whether it's because they don't have time to properly think about things, or what it is. I'm a bit intrigued, really.
Well, I think things evolve, and I think as we all get older, your life takes different paths, doesn't it? And you have different requirements and different wants, and there's fashion out there, isn't there? So I think that will always take a thing. But for me, it's like we sit at the breakfast bar. We got a bifold sat behind me, and just seeing the goldfinches eating the dandelion seeds, hearing the chaff, just making the noise. All the birds. It's beautiful. You get the sparrowhawks coming in, trying to get the small little birds.
You wouldn't. I think coming back to your point about would you change anything in that sense? Would we go and sell up and move on? No, absolutely not.
It's always time to enjoy.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing when you've got, particularly when you've got a young family, because we've developed before, haven't we? We developed the house. We lived in Shipham for a period of time, a huge extension on the side of that, and so from there we then moved to a brand new house, which we loved because it meant we had lots of time together and not very much to do other than the garden. Really, was that we decorated, but we didn't really do a great deal in the house.
6 months and it was all done, wasn't it?
Done. And then when we moved into River Farm, it was a lot of work, and that took years to do because it was such a vast property and such a lot to do. It's a 300-year-old property, so there was lots of, and you couldn't do certain things because of the age of the property. And then coming here, this just feels like once we've got it all sorted, tidied, and decided where we want things to, I can't see us doing anything. I think your next project will probably be for your son.
Yeah, probably will be.
Which they're already talking about, I hasten to add.
Yeah, we just got to put gates and some fencing up, a little bit of landscaping, and we're done, really, aren't we? Here, absolutely. Build some cabinets, records for the turntable. the amp.
Have you decided where that's going now?
Yeah, in the office.
Yeah, we've got a place. It's taken us a while to decide, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Our original plan didn't work. So
No,
we then had to go second.
because it was going to go underneath in the kitchen, but it needs an awful lot more design thought, to be honest, and we didn't have that time. But
That's fair
we're
enough.
happy. We're happy the way it is, aren't we?
Don't care where it's going. And I think the thing is, though, it's coming back to what you were saying before about, in a sense, that you get rid of quite a lot of stuff when you move on. And I think that's that bit about life, really, isn't it? You have accumulate stuff emotionally as well as physically, and I think very often it's quite difficult to let go of certain things because it's got a certain memory attached to it, or it's and I think we've found that we've just had to be brave, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I had my external supervision yesterday. It's a place to declutter my mind, declutter my emotions, declutter my anger, my frustrations, and my grumbles, and my, grumpy old manness, and talk about what's important, talk how the business is going, how the family is, how I am, and I think that's a great value point, Ange, about that's the emotional, that's the mental part of it, isn't it? Your mental well-being. We can all go to the chiropractor, or we can all go to the GPs, and we can all go down to the gym. But if your mind's not right, it is so important to get that balance.
But do you find? I mean, it must be really hard living with me, because I can't be the easiest person to live with. Because
what's the right answer here, Mike?
As soon as Ange said that, I did wonder. I was thinking, oh my God, Dave, be careful what you say.
I know. I mean,
hang on. My son said, "Watch and learn, Dad." Yes, you're right, Mum.
But it's that bit where I am, and I know a lot of people struggle with it because I'm very upfront and I'll say exactly what I want to say, and I don't hold back. I'm pretty much there. And I wonder how that impacts on you emotionally, particularly when, like, if I'm sad, I'll say I'm sad. If I'm happy, I say I'm happy. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a bit like at the start of the podcast, I could feel it and it's like, I will say it. I don't pretend it's not happening. If you see what I'm saying, I can't do that because it's not healthy for me. And you saying about having your therapy supervision, that value of that. But living with somebody like me who is in your face, I know I'm not in your face physically, but like open about everything.
Well, that's been a learning curve ever since we've been together, isn't it, really? And your personal development around that area started way before my therapeutic kind of terms. But I wouldn't have it any other way,
Right on.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I had my fingers crossed behind the back. It is what it is. Look, it works, doesn't it?
But does it? But does it work? Because I mean, bearing in mind, we talked about this the other day, because after obviously what happened with James, you actually said I was frightened that we weren't going to be together anymore. Yeah, it frightened you that it would end our marriage. And I think a lot of people that have been through what we've been through, their marriages do end because of it.
For sure, 100%.
And I wonder if, because we're so open about how we feel, and probably me and you, that's helped that process of staying together.
100%, Ange. I couldn't argue against that one. No, most definitely. Yeah, and I was worried because you hear so many times where parents have lost a child, and like 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it's become too much, and they go their own separate ways, which is very, very sad. I know that could be for other reasons, but yeah, it was very much on the forefront of my mind. I think help just by being open about it and chatting about it, I think helps as well, and that comes down to that openness, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always remember doing my studying for counselling about Carl Rogers and that incongruent, and I think it's on page 76, and it says about with no facade. It takes me back to, that winter wonderland that was all advertised everywhere, and like people were being ripped off going in. There was no snow. It was in a forest. It was done by, Boy Scouts almost, very poor quality. And kind of, that had a massive facade, come and enjoy the wonders of Santa and all that. And the amount of families that were disappointed, it hit hit headlines, and it's to have no facade, and you have no facade, Ange. Yes, I have facade at times. We're working on it.
But is
Yeah,
that
it's
a bloke?
progress.
Is that a bloke thing? Do you do
It could
that
be.
as well? Do you kind of put up a front?
Yeah, quite often. And I think sometimes it's almost to protect the other person. So if you're upset with them or angry with them or whatever, you kind of put up a facade to say, yeah, I'm all right. And actually, I think sometimes it's because you're scared to say how you truly feel or what they've made you angry, upset about or angry about or whatever. Because actually, you almost care more about them and what they think than sort of you being upset. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, but how does it feel when I say, "What's the matter with you?" Because I do, and I know I do, and I call you out. But that's that thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know is the answer. I was chatting to some friends yesterday.
Is Mike edging around this question?
I was chatting to some friends, and they were telling me about some people that they know who, when they go to bed at night, they have to tell each other, so their relationship, they have to say what the other person could have done to make them feel more loved that day.
Really?
I'm curious as what you guys think about that. I personally think that's really odd because, I can understand not going to bed angry or upset with your partner, but to go to bed and say, "Oh, if you'd made me that cup of tea this morning, I would have felt more loved."
I would have loved you more.
I would have loved you more. Like, why would I don't understand? It's really odd.
It's funny. We had a discussion this morning, didn't we, about going away for a few days. I've been poorly. I've had a rough couple of weeks, and I've ordered all my medication that I take with me. One of the medications I had enough, more than enough. Dave was a bit, you need to order some more of these things that I have to take when I'm really sick. And I just tell him, I don't like the way you're talking to me. And you'll tell me as well, won't you? You'll tell me straight away rather than leaving it till you go to bed. Oh my God, if I left it till I bed, I'd have a list as long as me uncle.
Get to sleep till about 4.
No, that's it. Yeah, if you shouldn't have said this because
Yeah. By the way, Ange, my
More
cup's
tea.
empty. Love me.
It is odd though, isn't it? It's amazing how different relationships and couples, they do odd, peculiar things sometimes.
And that's what makes the world so colourful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong. It's just different, and certain things work for some people, and you got to find that, haven't you?
Yeah.
Balance.
But I think that's like any relationship, though. It's like you and I are quite close, and you annoy me, and I'm sure I annoy you. Well, I know it. I'm not sure. But I'll say it because you won't say it. And then you say it because I encourage you to say it.
Probably is quite true.
It's true, Mike.
You've got to get over the uncomfortable bit first, Mike.
Sure.
Mind people saying things. I think that's the thing. As much as I will say it, I don't mind receiving it either.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's really important to be able to do that.
It is, yeah.
Because otherwise, what rights do I have to say what I think and feel if I'm not to hear what you think and feel? I find that in therapy actually quite a lot with people where they're very quick to look out at everybody else, but not very good at looking at themselves. And it's like, and a lot of therapy is about getting people to look at themselves before they look out at other people. What is it that's going on for me that's creating this dilemma in our relationship or in life or at work or whatever the circumstances are? But that's quite hard for a lot of people to do.
Of course it is, yeah, because they want to blame somebody else.
It's easier to look out than it is to look in.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you because I know when one of my personal traits is that I always wanted to be liked. You like me. So I didn't really like confrontation, but I've changed. It's not like flicking a switch and changing overnight. It's doesn't mean you're unkind to other people. It's just you being more honest with yourself and more honest with others, doesn't it? We all have these traits. It's all learnt from childhood.
But would you say, asking both of you, would you say that in those circumstances that you are replicating what you've been brought, your statement? Are you replicating how you've been brought up?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Whether that is parents, probably other influential people in your lives. Maybe, club masters, scout masters, sports teachers, sports clubs, teachers itself. It's that environment that you're brought into, isn't it?
Do you agree?
How you adapt to that environment.
I don't know. I've never really thought about it, to be honest. I'm really not sure right this minute. I'd have to go and think about it. Maybe? I don't know.
And I think that's the thing. Very often people don't know, do they? They absolutely just don't have a clue where this comes from, where this response to certain situations comes from. And actually, that's the good thing about counselling therapy. It does that. It gives you that option to kind of identify that actually I used to be like that, or my dad used to be like, my cub master taught me to do this, or whatever. And actually, it might not necessarily be what's right for you today. What keeps coming up in my head is that, have you seen that video on Instagram about the two guys at the football match?
Yes. Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
The one you're talking about. Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, go on.
No, and
For
it's
me.
two guys at the football match, and one's really looks glum and looks like he's had a bit of a difficult life, and he's having a rough time of it. And then there's the other guy next to him, and he's like supporting him, and actually, it's the guy that looks glum and is wearing his feelings on his face is absolutely right. The other guy passes away. He actually commits suicide.
He's been putting on a facade.
And he's been putting on a facade. And I think, coming back to that bit about being truthful and being honest, is there more value in being truthful and honest, saying, actually, I'm struggling this time, than putting on the facade and pretending that you're something that you're not? And I know that men are worse at it than.
Yeah, for sure. That's a difficult one, isn't it? And it's about feeling safe in your environment to be able to do that, and safe in your own shoes. And if you don't feel safe and secure within that environment, I don't think that's not the perfect kind of position to be airing, unless you're extremely confident within yourself.
I hear you say that, but there's never a perfect environment or a perfect setting or a perfect anything. But if that would prevent you from acting in a different, if it could change that action. I mean, if that guy had said something at that time to his friend that he was sat next to, or indeed somebody else, that might have stopped the action, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it might not break down a relationship, if you see what I'm saying. If like you're really grumpy with me about something or whatever, I can't be bothered with this person. It's all right. It's all right, Mike. I know you're always grumpy with me. It's fine. But no. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might.
Yeah, but do you also feel that, maybe that person, that individual is kind of, they have to put a facade on to make sure, because it's almost self-belief that everything is okay. And it's almost like a play they're playing, even though it's not true. And what's really underneath the skin is quite a dark place for some people.
I think you're right, actually. I think there's probably lots of people who do that. They sort of go and be the life of the party, because actually that's the only time they can get away from themselves almost. Whereas if they're wandering around grumpy all the time, also it puts people off wanting to spend time with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other difficulty. If you're grumpy and moaning and sad and depressive, I think there's lots of people who will, perhaps not intentionally, but they will perhaps distance themselves a little bit because they don't want to feel like that. And it almost becomes a bit of a vicious cycle. I mean,
yeah, it's funny because like my mum's younger brother in the 70s, he was an alcoholic. I didn't meet him until I was about 8. I thought it's me granddad when I first saw him, obviously because the drink had taken its toll. And he decided to end his own life around about 75, 76, something like that. And he was the life and soul of the party. He used to be a bar steward for the yachting club down in Eastbourne. And he was drinking one night in a pub called the Sussex. He had a little dog. He always had lots of friends around him, probably because he was probably buying the drink as well. But there's nothing malicious about him that I could see or experience him. I was only around about 10 or 11. But he asked his friend to look after the dog whilst he go to the loo, and he never turned up. He got a taxi up to Beachy Head. He wasn't a jumper. He just had whiskey and big bottle of pills, and then he was found 10 days later. People thought he was the life and soul of the body. So, what kind of demons was he hiding for all those years, really?
I'm
Yeah,
listening to a
cheers.
book at the moment, actually, about that, because one of the things that they suggest in this book is that if we heal if we want to heal, but if we heal through covering things up rather than expressing our emotions, then it's almost like putting a false plaster on it, and eventually the cut will open again. But but then it contradicts itself, because it then says if you go on about it, then you're not moving on. Do you know what I mean? And I think sometimes life can be a bit of a contradiction, because there's people, like you were saying, people don't always want to be around sad people or people that are grieving or whatever they are. They want them to be okay, if you see what I'm saying. And so therefore if they're not okay, then they avoid them, type thing. And so therefore people then put on a facade to still be part of the community or whatever it is. And it's a real dilemma, isn't it, of like, and what the books say and what this person says and what that person says. It's a contradiction, really, an awful lot of the time.
I agree. It's a minefield, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a total minefield, and it's everybody's personal journeys, isn't it? What one thing works for some people, it doesn't work for somebody else. But I think it's like you may say, you read an awful lot, Ange. Kind of, I think now I finished building, I want to start reading a little bit more than I do.
Books are on your phone, Mr. Clarke.
I prefer a paperback.
I prefer a book.
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
I always do. I don't know what it is. I think it's something physical. It's a bit like vinyl records. I love a vinyl record.
Really?
I look at the pictures, I read the lyrics, I find out who's the producers. I really find that fascinating. And it's like a story of the music being produced, and I really like that. A CD, well, you need X-ray eyes to really read anything on the CD. It's so small. But yeah, that's my preference. Always has been.
You're exactly the same, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I at one point, I think it was in COVID, I was reading a lot on my phone, downloading books. But that was more because you couldn't go to a bookshop and buy books. You'd get them delivered, but you just couldn't really get books. But the problem is you just constantly get notifications and things, and it's distracting. And I might read a page and then go, "Oh, I better check my emails now." Whereas if I put my phone to one side and just have the book, you just don't get as distracted. It's so much better.
But I think that's the thing. I have my phone on silent, as you all know, because you can never ring me because I never answer the damn phone, or rarely do. And even though I've got a watch, I still don't answer it if I'm doing something. I don't get distracted, and I think that's the difference. If I'm listening to something, I can be doing anything. There could be a million things going on around me, and it doesn't actually distract me. I'm completely focused on it. But I also feel I can revisit it. It's easier to revisit an audiobook than it is to visit.
I can't do audiobooks.
Yeah, I know.
I could fall asleep to them.
Can you?
Yeah, Danny the champion of the world. I love it. I fall asleep to it every night. It was quite funny, really, because we got friends. A couple of years ago, we got together. They were visiting, and we were talking about sleep and struggle to sleep. And if he's struggling, he always picks up. He's got a paperback book of Danny the Champion.
Really?
Yeah, it was uncanny. Who
was that? I can't remember.
Phil.
It is strange, because I went to see somebody in hospital this week who's not very well at all. She's so sad. They're so young, and it's just doesn't seem there almost. I know you can't say that. Your time's your time. But we were talking about sleeping and not being able to sleep and under different circumstances. And I was saying that we always listen to either the BFG or Danny the Champion of the World. And she said, my two favourite books. And it was like, you could see the sparkle in her eye. It was lovely. Our paths cross in lots of different ways, don't they? It's just having similarities. What's your favourite?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know, to be honest. I don't think I've ever read a book more than once.
Yeah, I read books over again.
No, I don't.
Counselling for Toads is one of our favourite therapeutic books. Yeah, it's based on Wind of the Willows.
The Present is another one. I like that one.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever read a book. I struggle to watch films more than once, so maybe there's something in there.
Yeah, you do that, don't you? Yeah. You struggle. I can watch a film a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. You can't use it.
There's the odd film that I can, a film that I really enjoy.
Give us an example.
The Intern. Robert De Niro.
Yeah, that's a really good. It's a
I
nice.
love that film.
That's a nice film.
Hot Fuzz for me.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz. I could do Hot Fuzz more than once. And yeah, there's not many books or films I could watch more. Certainly couldn't watch it like this week and then watch it again next week.
Oh, I could.
Bizarrely though, I can do that with TV series. Weirdly, I don't know why. Yeah.
What's your favourite TV series?
It's probably Suits. Which is
We haven't done that
legal
one.
drama. It's really good. Really good. Yeah, I really like that. And then I quite often go to sleep watching Benidorm. Which is the most bizarre thing.
I get that because I find that hilarious.
It's because it's positive, so you're not gonna. There's not some random scary thriller bit in it. It's jolly. It's sunny. They're happy. Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of trash TV that. I mean, I love. I wish Netflix would tell you how many times you've watched a series or an episode, because I probably watched Benedict. I watched all. I think it's 9 or 10 series of it. I probably watch it in a period of, I don't know, maybe a month, 2 months, and then I start again.
And do you fall asleep to it?
Oh yeah, I don't watch it. I'll get into bed, I put it on, I'll look at my phone for 15, 20 minutes, put the phone down, roll over and fall asleep. I don't actually watch it. It's just background.
So Benidorm is your Danny the Champion of the World of myself. There you go. Yeah.
I'm really disappointed with you, Michael, now, because you've told Dave about Benidorm being on Netflix.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
I'm sorry, Anne.
Sorry, Anne. Poor Dave.
Yeah, poor
Yeah,
Dave.
Benidorm's great, and they're supposedly they're bringing out a new series, a new one to watch.
Yeah, cracks me up every time I see it. It just cracks me up. It's a bit like Shameless every time.
Shameless too. I think it's a clean shame.
It's almost like reality, isn't it?
Yeah.
But taken one step too far type of thing. Shameless is good.
Yeah,
Shameless is fun.
Have you tried the American one?
No,
not as good.
No.
I think it's just not. It's not our culture.
It's not British.
No.
Yeah.
So it doesn't quite work.
That is a weird thing, though, isn't it? How different cultures, because the humour is so different. Our humour in England is so different compared to other countries. I know when we went to see that bloke, that comedian, what's his name? Was it? I can't remember. He was the Irish guy. He was hysterical. But I can't imagine him going down well in America.
Timmy somebody.
Yeah, wasn't it?
Timmy Tiny or something?
Yeah, something like that. He was really funny, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Really funny. But I couldn't imagine him going to America and getting away with half the things that he said. It's really but very funny. Second time on the podcast, what was it like compared to the first time?
The first time I came was a bit of a whirlwind, wasn't it, really? It was like, oh,
just dragged you in.
It dragged me in. Saturated from pouring down the rain. I remember that. And it was like a 30-minute thing. And I kind of like here is kind of, I feel a lot more, more relaxed. I don't have any expectations. It's just like chatting with your wife and a close family friend, isn't it? And, you come and have dinner. I think Chris was saying must be 4 times a week here, Mike, don't you? And then on the weekends. So, it's, comfortable.
Glad it's different. Thank you for coming on. Just aware that you've got to get back to work.
Pleasure.
Some jobs. Chop.
Are you itching there to get away?
The list is long and the weather's coming in tomorrow or midnight. So I want to go and spray me fields and silicon up some roofs.
Fair enough. We'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
Guys, take care. Bye.